young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
I need you to explain to me what the hell she's talking about. How about we analyze what the governor of New York said yesterday? Because I don't think there's any gray area here. I don't think we have to split hairs. I don't think we have to do any special exegesis on her words and maybe parse the statement out. What you're about to hear from the Democrat governor of New York is flat out 100% deep South civil rights era KKK bigotry.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Black children in the Bronx don't know what the word computer is. I mean, you could have said children in the Bronx are not well versed with computer science. You could have said children in the Bronx are not getting access to technology to be able to be as well versed in computers as other children in other neighborhoods. You could have said a lot of different things, but this was oddly specific and incredibly bigoted. Not just children in the Bronx, Black children in the Bronx. We needed to specify which children. There's a lot of children in the Bronx. I've been to the Bronx. It's like the UN up there. Every single race, faith, ethnicity, everyone's there. But we singled out the Black kids. And it's not just that they don't know computers. They don't know the word computer. I mean, they're just not illiterate with computers. They're illiterate across the board. That's the governor of New York. I'm going to spend a little time breaking down these 20 seconds because it's just exquisitely beautiful.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
Don't even know what the word computer is. By the way, she's the governor of New York. She has been a Democrat holding elected office or power in the state of New York for many years. And Democrats have been in charge of the state of New York and certainly the public school system for many years, especially in the city of New York, of which the Bronx is one of the 5 boroughs. So if a young Black child in the Bronx doesn't even know the word computer in the year 2024, what kind of self-incriminating damnation of her own political party is that? Who's been in charge of education in the Bronx for, I don't know, the last 100 years? Who's in charge of the curriculum? Who's in charge of funding the schools? What party is in bed with the teachers union? If it's true that a young Black kid in the Bronx doesn't even know the word computer, who should we blame for that? Her and her party. But there's more. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe in the middle of this, she realized what she had just said. And she had to immediately do some kind of U-turn without admitting what she had just said. She had to salvage it. And so the next thing you're going to hear is it's such gobbledygook word salad pulled off of the tree of intersectionality, diversity, equity, and inclusion, left-wing Marxist claptrap that it could have been written by Kamala Harris's speechwriters. This is the part of the statement everyone's, focusing on, the appropriately offensive and bigoted young Black kids from the Bronx have never heard the word computer or don't know the word computer. But listen to this next part. We're going to break it down because I need you to explain to me what the hell she's talking about.
They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
So they don't know the word computer, but we want to have what now?
Because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology,
Their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology. I mean, she got diverse, she got innovation, she got technology all in there. I mean, you got a bingo card going, you're real close to winning the jackpot. What does any of that mean? We want their diverse voices innovating through technology, although they don't know the word computer. That's beautiful. That should win an award. I know they just gave out the Pulitzers. I guess we got to wait till next year.
because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
She makes Kamala Harris look like the smartest woman in the world. Kamala Harris probably leads the Democrat Party's Mensa convention compared to this woman. What in God's name does any of that mean? We want their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology. But, they'll applaud her. Oh, my God, she's so smart. She's so much smarter than the rest of us. Thank God we have her in place right now. We don't deserve leaders like that. Well, that's true. We do not deserve leaders like this. So where's the fallout from this one?
Young Black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
I love that we just listened to a 10-minute debate on whether somebody's actions at Ole Miss for 3 seconds was bigoted or not. But here we got the real kahuna. We got this is it. There's no guesswork here. Is there any explanation for that other than racism? Any at all? You can call it condescension as well, patronizing perhaps, admission of failure, which again, I want to reiterate, if she's right, and she's not, but if she's right, it's because of the failure of her own Democrat Party apparatus that controls education in the state of New York. But here's how I know that every young Black kid in the Bronx knows full well the word computer. In fact, I know that they can work a computer. You know how I know? Because they've got one of these, just like the rest of us do. They all have a computer in their pocket. I love when we need to make sure that people have access to technology. They have more access to technology in their hip pocket than most generations, well, than all generations since the existence of humankind. And I assure you, they can work apps better than you can, Grandma Boomer. You wonder why the Black vote is moving away from condescending, patronizing, idiot bigots like this. And, well, it's pretty obvious. But can we explore some of the other things Kathy Hochul has said just in this last weekend? Because when she wasn't talking to the Milken Institute at their conference, she was talking to the Clinton Global Initiative. Because, now that there's a Democrat in the White House, the Clinton Global Initiative is making money again. They had to take 4 years off because they weren't able to bilk any money from people wanting to do business with the White House. That's how they make all their money. But listen to this one. It's another great little gem from Kathy Hochul.
When we think about all this, what's going on, it's a well-funded, coordinated effort to destroy the rights of the LGBTQ community, but particularly, this as a mom is really hard, the attacks on our kids, our trans kids, particularly. My God, don't you have anything else to do? You're picking on children, picking on young people who are struggling internally themselves, trying to find themselves. Who am I? And yet the bigots and the far-right extremists are hell-bent on keeping this up because they think it scores political points. They don't care who the collateral damage is. We don't care if we hurt you. We don't care that our hate speech is pushing you to consider suicide. We don't really care about that. But we think this is going to play well in the red states and help their political ambitions. How pathetic is that? How pathetic is that?
Well, there's something pathetic here, but it's not what you think, Kathy Hochul. Now, we're going to break this statement down too. It's only a minute long, but there's plenty to unpack. But first, because she called people who are trying to protect children from genital mutilation, called us bigots. So let's just remind the woman calling you a bigot because you're trying to protect children from genital mutilation just said this.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
She called you a bigot. According to her, you're the bigot. Okay, now let's break down exactly what she had to say here.
When we think about all this, what's going on, it's a well-funded, coordinated effort to destroy the rights of the LGBTQ community, but particularly.
I just want you to know it's not well funded and it's not well coordinated. Wish it were, by the way. That would be great. If there is anyone out there looking to fund this and protect our kids, please do so. Write a big check because I think it's worthwhile doing. But
this as a mom is really hard. The attacks on our kids.
let me be clear here, Governor Hochul, because, you know, obviously you've never had a conversation with somebody like me. You disregard us. You think that we're, as you just said, bigoted, redneck, racists, extremists. We're not attacking kids. We're attacking you. I'm sorry if you didn't catch that. I'm sorry if you thought that our ire and our anger was directed toward children. No, no, no. You're the problem, ma'am. You are. You and your party. And you talk about well-funded. You talk about well-funded. Look at Human Rights Campaign. Look at NARAL. Look at Planned Parenthood. Look at the pharmaceutical industry. They're the ones pushing all of this. That's pretty damn well funded, and they're paying your checks, honey. Our attacks are not on children. We're actually trying to keep children from having puberty blockers, from having their growth stunted, them being sterilized, them not being able to ever experience sexual pleasure when they're adults, because that's what all those pharmaceuticals do. And of course, the aforementioned genital mutilation. We're protecting children. We're not attacking them. We're attacking you. So let's not confuse this. And I'm sorry that that wasn't clear because I think we've been very clear. You're the one that we're directing our hate toward, our anger toward, our energies toward. Yeah, that's right. Hate. I hate anyone who damages children like this.
Our trans kids, particularly.
By the way, trans kids. Up until 15 years ago, the word trans kids was non-existent. There was no such thing. But now it's like it's written in stone for the dogma of the left. Trans kids. That breaks my heart even hearing that word. Why can't she just look at a child and see her as a child? Why can't she just see a child and see him as a child? Why does it have to? You're not just a child. You're a trans child. That, by the way, is bigoted in and of itself. Look at that little human being for who he or she is. And it's either he or she, by the way, ma'am.
My God, don't you have anything else to do? You're picking on children, picking on young people who are struggling internally themselves, trying to find themselves.
Yeah, listen, all kids are struggling internally, especially when they're about to go through puberty, trying to find themselves. I get it. That's literally universal. Every child goes through that. You know what you don't want to do at a time like that? Tell them that God made them wrong. Tell them that God made a mistake when they were created. Oh, I know that you're struggling to find yourself and trying to figure out who you are. But here, maybe this will help. You're a mistake. Your body is wrong. You need to take these drugs to stop it, or maybe have this procedure to completely alter it forever. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I think that's not the compassionate thing to say to kids who are struggling to find out who they are. How about you tell them you're perfect the way you are? Everyone has challenges. Everyone has troubles. The solution isn't to dump pharmaceuticals into your system to stunt your growth and future sexual development. But apparently the enlightened position is what you're hearing from the governor of New York, who, by the way, I would like to remind you, just said this about black children.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
But, oh, please get on your sanctimonious high horse and lecture me about how I should be treating children, considering what you think of black children in the Bronx.
Who am I? And yet the bigots and the far-right extremists are hell-bent on keeping this up because they think it scores political points. They don't care who the collateral damage is. We don't care if we hurt you. We don't care that our hate speech is pushing you to consider suicide. We don't really care.
Yeah, that's been thoroughly debunked. In fact, it's the opposite of the equation. If you actually nurture these children along the path of gender reassignment, the most recent expansive study out of Western Europe shows that they actually will be more inclined to harm themselves. There is another expansive report, medical report out of Western Europe that shows for the vast majority of children who are going through some sort of gender confusion before puberty or in the onset of puberty, they grow out of it. It is a phase. You help them out, you talk with them, you treat them with respect and love, and they will make their way through it without any extraordinary alterations to their body, to their name, to their clothing, to anything. And finally, Kathy Hochul, talking about being on the wrong side of history, how about you jump on board with the people in the United Kingdom and in Sweden and in Finland? You know, all of those socialist utopias that you lefties always brag about. I wish we were more like Norway. Well, they've all ended these draconian, barbaric procedures that you're now embracing and forcing on our children. Why are you on the wrong side of history? Why are you on the wrong side of the enlightened social democrats of Sweden, for instance? You know, the country that invented a sex change operation. What a fool. What an absolute evil fool. But she wasn't even done yet at the Clinton Global Initiative. There's more.
I learned as a young activist on my college campus the power of when you can use voices to get businesses to change their policies, great things can happen. And I'm referring to, and I'm this old, we were fighting apartheid back in the 70s. And I, as head of student government and representative of the board of trustees, we decided that our university should no longer be investing in companies that are doing business in South Africa because you're supporting apartheid. It was a nationwide movement starting on college campuses. When we got our universities to feel the shame to divest their holdings, all of a sudden it started collapsing. They began pulling out of South Africa. That's how a few committed people, activists, can make a difference.
Now, you've heard Kathy Hochul, that woman right there, the governor of New York, and a lot of other Democrats, including Joe Biden, claim that they're in favor of the rule of law. And although they support free speech, they're very much against what you've been seeing on college campuses, the unlawful encampments and the bigotry and the that they claim that they're against that and it should end. But understand what you just heard from her. She just empowered those dirtbags even further. She just took the side of the pro-Hamas dirtbags who have been soiling campuses in her state. Forget about what they say about, oh, no, yeah, we're against this. No, they're 100% for it. She just empowered them by comparing their cause to the anti-apartheid cause of the 80s, and she just further gave them oxygen. She just gave tacit approval to the entire thing. Either she is maniacal in her duplicity for saying one thing before the cameras about how she wants those illegal protests to end, while at the same time giving a not so veiled comparison to them and the anti-apartheid movement of the 80s. She's either completely maniacal in her duplicity or she's an absolute moron for not connecting the two. Because what she just said is undeniably a direct connection. And there's one more. Now, this one's a bit of a throwback, but this tells you who Kathy Hochul is. Can I just remind you that just yesterday she said this about a little black boy?
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
That is a bigot. That is a prejudiced, bigot racist who thinks that black people are stupid. But this woman continues to talk and talk and talk, and boy, the things that come out of her mouth. Here's a throwback from the good old halcyon days of the vaccine. I had not seen this video, but I think you might appreciate it.
I prayed a lot to God during this time. And you know what? God did answer our prayers. He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers. He made them come up with a vaccine that is from God to us. And we must say, thank you, God. Thank you. And I wear my vaccinated necklace all the time to say, I'm vaccinated. All of you. Yes, I know you're vaccinated. You're the smart ones, but you know there's people out there who aren't listening to God and what God wants. You know this. You know who they are. I need you to be my apostles. I need you to go out and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other. Jesus taught us to love one another. And how do you show that love? But to care about each other enough to say, please get vaccinated because I love you. I want you to live. I want our kids to be safe when they're in schools. I want you to be safe when you go to a doctor's office or to a hospital and are treated by somebody. You don't want to get the virus from them. You're already sick or you wouldn't be there. We have to solve this, my friends. I need every one of you. I need you to let them know that this is how we can fight this pandemic, come back to normal, and then start talking about the real issues that we have to. Fighting systemic racial injustice, which exists today. And if there's a denier, I will take you on any day because I've seen it. I know it exists. And we are not going to have a blind eye to this ever again any longer under my.
That woman is an absolute loon. There's no two ways about it. The vaccine is a gift from God, and I need you to be my apostles to evangelize and spread the word. And then once we get the pandemic, we can get to the things that are really important, like systemic racism. Ooh, wait a minute. Speaking of systemic racism, one more time? Yes, let's do it one more time.
Young Black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
Well, you got to hand it to her. The pandemic's over, and now she is addressing the real problems, the systemic racism. Governor Hochul, calls coming from inside your house.